Let me welcome Mr. Edwin Charles Albert, the Head of Content, Wynk, Airtel Xstream, and Edwin will be presenting a topic, regional consolidation and advent of OTT in Tier 3 and 4 markets. Edwin, please take over. Thank you very much.
Hey, thanks, Vijay. I'll take it over. Let me just start with a brief introduction. Hi, I'm Edwin, obviously. I take care on and head the content for Wynk Music and Airtel Xstream, which is obviously the OTT division of Airtel. Today, I want to speak on a very important and a very exciting topic. So, which is the advent of OTT in Tier 2 and Tier 3. So what usually happens is when we talk about OTT in general, the first thing that comes in our mind is, okay, it's Netflix and okay, Tier 1 and Metro people are watching it. But when in the past 2 or 3 years, what has happened is like pretty exciting. This has been like very exciting times in the field of Indian OTT, where more and more people have started coming online, and a lot of traffic has started to come from Tier 2, Tier 3, and Tier 4. Obviously, it stems from the advent of very cheap data packs propelled by Airtel and Jio, and more people have started to come online, and hence and the after effect of that, juxtaposition of that has started to reflect on the OTT ecosystem as well. So let me just start off with a small presentation. It's not anything fancy. I've just I've just prepared a few top tracks which I would like to speak about. And we will go in presentation mode. So I would like to start with a few market trends, by discussing a few market trends, which is like around in the past 2-3 years, almost 40 plus total number of OTT apps have been present and functioning in India. There are 15 plus only regional apps. So these OTT apps are now only catering to the regional market. So when you talk about Tamil Nadu, there's different players that is for Tamil Nadu. So regional consolidation, as you see, has already started to happen, and most of you must be aware of regional players like Hoichoi and AHA, our good friends at Manorama Max. All these players have started in the last 2-3 years. Hoichoi, I guess, started in 2017-18. So some of these players who were already in the production business on the regional front, they have come online and they've started their OTT or their OTT platforms of their own. Talking about the money, obviously everyone is in it for the money. So there are around $2.9 billion. That's the size of Indian OTT market. That's going to be in like not very far. It's going to be in 2024. And then coming to the topic of the day, obviously, is that 50%, that is like a mind-boggling 50% of time share, that is time spent on being on the OTT platforms, is going to be regional. So that I took that information from an EY report. But if you would like to just imagine that, like from an industry you just talk about even just talking about the digital front and the digital ecosystem in India back in 2015, that is just like 5-6 years from where we are right now. No one could have imagined people doing digital payments and watching, like let's forget about streaming a movie on your mobile phone. It's as simple. It's very simple when you think about it in today's time. But in 2015, when you talk about it, which was the advent of digital ecosystems in India, the OTT industry and the digital industry has come very far. to the point where most of the traffic is now, and most of the growth, and I know like many people in the audience must be from the OTT business and digital ecosystems. You guys know, like most of the growth in the digital entertainment industry is now being propelled by these vernacular language markets. So very exciting times. Moving on. Oops. Yeah. So talking just purely in numbers, there are 96 million number of the 96 million active paid subscribers, or say paid subscriptions in India, with around 41 million paid subscribers. That is a whopping 2.5 subscriptions per paying customer. So when you talk about OTT, there are two parts to the OTT business in India. One is your A word, and then is your S word, that is your subscription word. A word is the advertise. So what for many of you who don't know, what is video on demand, which is like any video that you can, which is not linear. So your TV is your linear TV, and then anything that is any content that you are able to watch on on your mobile screens, on Netflix, on subscription services, is categorized into what, which is video on demand. And there are two major parts of this business, which is your A word, which is totally advertising driven, which is also the free layer of the OTT business. And then there is S word, which is totally subscription. That is your subscription word. Obviously, there's another up and coming leg to it, which is known as T word, where you pay, which is transactional word, where you pay per view. So let's say for example, Radhe has released, and Radhe is going to be released on several OTT players and also the theaters. You don't want to go to the theater, you just want to watch Radhe in the comfort of your home. Or let's say you want to watch Dune, which has been recently released. Or let's say you want to watch John Wick 4 in the comfort of your home. You don't want to go to the theaters. So the subscription companies have come up with a proposition where you can just pay or rent the movie, which is called TiVo. That is separate part of, that is another leg of the VOD business or the OTT business. So just imagine there are 353 million people in India. That is 25% of the Janta that is viewing OTT on a regular basis. And out of the 353 million, there are active subscriptions. So 96 million people, 96 active subscriptions means there are, let's say there are 40, 50 players in India, and people have paid for 96 million times to these players. And out of that, obviously 41 million people have paid for 96 million subscriptions in India. So yeah, so this is a number that is very mind-boggling, and these are numbers where we are just getting started. These numbers are bound to grow 2x or 3x in the coming 2 or 3 years. And this last number, obviously, it's like almost 700 million people in India out of 1.6 billion are on their smartphones. So you can look at the potential. Like already, like we are just halfway there. Not even halfway. Obviously, the 700 million people are bound to grow. So we are let's say we have reached 30 to 35% of the potential growth in the smartphone and OTT markets. In the coming years, as more and more people adopt to digital ecosystems and OTT services, this number is bound to grow. And when we talk about this number, people have, like, if you had talked, I don't know if many of you remember, 3 or 4 years ago, many people were not comfortable in paying for content, right? So this was before Netflix came. Like many of us, myself included in my college days, we and also later, most of us downloaded our content through torrent. So the idea of paying for content was so alien to everyone. Sorry. Yeah, the idea of paying for content was so alien to everyone. It was like everything. It was very abysmal when you talk about it. Oh, I want to pay $100 to watch. Let's say one to have access to, let's say, thousands of movies. So, but things have changed over the past 2-3 years, where people have started getting comfortable to paying for content. And let's give credit where it's due. It's obviously Netflix. It's the Netflix of the world, the Amazons of the world. They introduced this concept where people paid for content and watched the content. So now many people day and day are getting comfortable in paying for content. Obviously there are different price baskets in and economic stratas where these subscriptions belong, but slowly and gradually people are getting comfortable to the idea of paying for content. Let's say you want to pay 20 rupees, you want to pay 50 rupees for watching such a content. People are getting more and more comfortable. So then the next topic that I want to discuss is the rise of regional during pandemic. So during COVID, obviously every sort of digital ecosystem saw a rise. The OTT industry, especially if I talk about Airtel Xstream, we saw a 2.5x growth within like 2-3 months. So that was around 250% of growth, which is mirrored to the industry. Like every player in the industry saw kind of a phenomenal growth during the pandemic, because people were stuck. They didn't know where to kill the time, and that's why we have seen, and the growth has not stopped from there, but because people have started adopting to these platforms, and the and what's phenomenal is not just metros and tier ones. OTTs have penetrated very deep into tier 2 and tier 3 and also tier 4 regions, which is where the next set of growth is coming from. If we talk about Wynk or Airtel Xstream, we have seen language markets grow from let's say X to 5x to 10x. Some languages like Bhojpuri and Haryanvi, they are seeing somewhere around 10x of growth they have seen 10x of growth in the last 10 years, in the last 1 year. So it has been phenomenal, and most of it is organic. Like obviously most of our acquisition and growth campaigns are performance marketing campaigns are directed towards this, but the first step of it was really organic. The first surge was really organic, and then we started to double down on user acquisition from these language markets. But when you see, like, this is very encouraging to see that kind of traction coming from tier 2 and tier 3 markets. Obviously, like Airtel and Airtel Xstream and Wynk, most of our friends in the OTT business have realized this, and that is why you can see players like Netflix and Amazon Prime, a Hotstar, and every other OTT player, that is, be it Hoichoi, be it AHA, be it Dolby Play, Manorama, they have started to heavily invest in vernacular content. And I talk about vernacular content, vernacular is your regional dialect and content in your native language of, let's say, Tamil, of Malayalam, and Telugu, Kannada, etc., etc., etc. And also the platforms and regional platforms like Hoichoi. Hoichoi is from the house of SVF, which is like a very old legacy content powerhouse in the Bengali film industry. Many of the Bengalis already know about it. They started their OTT platform in 2017. and they have also seen phenomenal growth, and they have launched a subscription pack of their own, and they are, from what I heard and my conversations with them, I have I've heard very encouraging numbers that people have started to pay for regional content. Same with AHA, which is a platform for Telugu language, and they have a price point of, let's say, 50-70 rupees, and this is where, like, regional consolidation comes into play, where, like, this is the first sign, the first positive sign is that many people for years feared that when we till the content is free, your your user base or your audiences are there in your apps or inside your ecosystems. Everyone believe that the minute you try to monetize and ask people to pay, the drop-offs are going to be in like huge numbers. So let's say people fear that 80 or 90% of their audiences are going to drop off. But that was not the case, thankfully. AHA has seen, and the numbers AHA and Hoichoi is seeing today in terms of paying customers, I think that is a very encouraging number. There are players which have come up with very unique propositions. So in May, June, July of 2020, I personally saw, and it was kind of a eureka moment where we were able to, while we were sitting one fine day and running through our numbers at Airtel Xstream, and we found out that many movies that obviously had their heart in South India, like, I mean, which were made in South South Indian content, South Indian languages, but were dubbed in Hindi, right? Were dubbed in Hindi have started to pick up, and they were seeing 200% to 300% growth in consumption. So that even that was something very, very phenomenal to watch. And Dollywood Play is like one of the platforms that does that. They have a very extensive South Indian catalog, which they dub into Hindi and present it to to the Hindi audience for consumption. And Hindi market has also seen like 100% growth specific to OTT. Malayalam Manorama is obviously like one of the strongest players to come out of Kerala. So coming down just to coming down just to the crux of this discussion is that bundles is not a very new concept. Many of you, like most of you, I guess 95% of you are already paying for a bundle, which is I don't know if you're shocked to hear about this. So yeah, I guess most of you are aware of bundles. You're already paying for your bundles in your satellite TV. So if you're using an Airtel DTH, it's a bundle that you're paying for. There are like hundreds and hundreds of channels, and they're bundled into one. So I will quickly try to wrap this up because I think we're running short on time. Audiences are looking for a single point of syndication, which is there are so many choices. There are like 5-7 different OTT subscriptions that you might want to buy because there are like different content there are different content pieces that you want to watch. So at a single point, wouldn't it be like very convenient that if you just pay at a single point of syndication and everything is accessible to you? So single active subscribers are already paying for 2-3 subscriptions. The number of offerings in the OTT domain, like the content pieces, are increasing day by day. Audiences want to have the best of all worlds. So imagine one player, or let's say like Airtel, or any other player just tries to consolidate all these 40 OTT players and package them into like one single punch, where people have to just pay for. Obviously, it's going to be. I don't know if you guys realize that it's going to be a very reduced cost when it comes to like regional or OTT consolidation. So it is. These are exciting times. Many people are coming up with this proposition, and we are working on something like this, which and many other OTT distribution platforms are also trying to bundle. So that is where the major market win is going to be, where all these OTT platforms are now bundled into one beautiful package for consumption, and there is a syndicated point where people can come in and pay and just enjoy and watch. I think that is all that I had from my side. Vijay?
All right, yes. Edwin, so we do have questions, most of them are generic ones, but, since we do not have a lot of time, let me just quickly ask you one question.
Yes.
Kindly, keep your answer brief. So the question is, will OTT replace cinema in future, or both will coexist? With pandemic going down, we see rise in viewership on cinema theaters. Also, what is the scope of OTT for salespeople?
Yeah. So obviously these are two different questions. Like I will keep the sales part apart. I would like to answer the first. Obviously, cinema was. I don't know. I will like to use history as to answer that. When TV channel came, or linear content started to come, that is when everybody said that the age of cinema is over, right? But people who go to cinema do not only pay for watching the content; they are also paying for the experiences. So when you're paying $500 or $700, you're not just paying that to just watch the movie. You're also it's like an outing for your family, or let's say a date that you're going to. So I think the age of cinema is not over yet. It is going to coexist, because when linear TV came, people kind of speculated that the age of cinema is over, but cinema remains as it is, and has thrived actually. So for larger releases, for big releases, let's say someone is putting 1,000 crores into a movie, I think, or 500 crores into a movie, I think a cinematic release will prevail. But the content pieces and movies and shows with lesser budgets, which were actually struggling in cinemas, have now found a place in OTT.
Okay, awesome. Alrighty, brilliant. I wish we had more time to answer the rest of the questions, but unfortunately, but I will personally pick up them questions and share it to you if we could make some time out to answer those questions.
Yeah, you can just mail it to me, and I'll mail the answers back.
Awesome. Thank you so very much, Edwin. Pleasure as always. Thank you very much for giving us or sharing a wonderful presentation.